thank you for participating in ECOVIS online webinar. Today, ECOVIS International invites our legal professionals to introduce you some important information while dealing with financial licensing and passporting to Europe. We will leave question time for you after the presentation. During our presentation, if you have any question, you can find the question and chat box in the panel toolbar. We will read your questions and reply to you in the QA time. Now, I will hand this webinar to our main speaker, Kestutis, our attorney in Lithuania. It's yours, Kestutis.
Thank you, Peggy. And first of all, I would like to introduce the agent of the webinar. First of all, the aim of the webinar is to introduce the ECOVIS International shortly and to introduce you the main speakers of today's participating countries. Furthermore, we will go through the general introduction of the regime and advantages of each country when it comes to the licensing in European Economic Area. We will provide you with some supportive information in each country, and finally, we will leave some time for your questions. ECOVIS International is the global network of professionals. We provide the services in auditing, accounting, tax advisory, corporate, legal, and financial investment consulting. ECOVIS originated from Germany. In Germany, we have more than 1,700 staff, over 100 presences with over 164 million euro revenues. ECOVIS worldwide has presence in 8 countries and almost 8,000 professionals. Today, me, Kestutis Kvainauskas from Lithuania, and my colleague Adrian Ciurtin from Romania are the main presenters. Our colleagues Aivars Blumins from Latvia, Piotr Pruś from Poland, and Gyorgy Zalavari from Hungary are very supportive with all the information and guidelines as provided. They are also online. If you have any questions, ready to answer. Now we will go through the presentation you will see in the screen. And first of all, I would like to briefly introduce you the European Union. This European Union is, as you know, of course, is the economical and political union of 28 countries. The UK currently is in the process of leaving EU, and in January next year, most probably it will leave, and EU will stay with 27 countries only. European Union has a single market which allows free movement of goods, services, capital, and people or the labor force between the member states. The European Union as a single market calculates 500 million wealthy consumers and 21 million enterprises. Currently, it's the world's biggest single market without barriers, duties, and tariffs. What is the license passport? The EU regulations and directives create a single pan-European framework of legislation and procedures applicable in all member states. Financial institution licensed in one European Union member state can passport the license into all other European Union member states by notifying the regulators in these countries through the national regulator. License passporting usually takes a month. Regulators in other EU member states are not allowed to raise any additional requirements or barriers in their national markets. Advantages of the passporting. The passporting allows the finance institutions such as banks, electronic money or payment service providers, insurance companies, investment managers provide financial services in all European member states and in all European common market. Fintech company or other finance institution registered and licensed in EU state having more favorable license tax regime and business environment opens single European financial market at significantly low incorporation or operational costs and gives significant competitive advantage compared comparing to the competitors registered in other European jurisdictions. What kind of financial services can be provided under the European Union passporting regime? First of all, there are traditional banking services can be provided under the European banking license or restricted specialized bank license issued by the central bank through the national regulators of European Union member states. The second group of the services is the payment processing services and the payment card or payment instrument issue. They can be provided under the electronic money institution or the payment institution license that's issued by the European national regulators. Investment advice and securities brokerage services is also the part of the passporting. These services can be provided under the securities brokerage or investment advisory licenses issued by the European national regulators under the European MiFID directive. Investment fund management and investment fund distribution is also the subject of the licensing regime. There are two European directives allowing investment management companies licensed in one EU jurisdiction to distribute the investment units or the shares of the funds to the investors in other EU member states and raise the capital for the investment. Insurance, reinsurance, and insurance brokerage services can also be provided throughout Europe, having one national license issued by the European national regulator. The European crowdfunding directive is coming soon, and it will allow the crowdfunding services to be provided under the passporting regimes throughout European Union. The aim of the crowdfunding directive is allow the European startups to raise the capital through the pan-European crowdfunding platforms as an alternative to the traditional banking services. The aim of the directive, which hopefully will come into the force within 1 or 2 years, is to allow the startups to generate the capital from the investors and to finance their innovative products. Now we go from the general description to the Lithuania, which is currently considered as one of the most attractive EU and European Economic Area jurisdiction for the finance institution licensing. We will go through the main reasons why Lithuania currently is considered as the favorable jurisdictions in order to understand what kind of arguments Lithuania has to attracting the international fintechs and promising them the access to the common European financial market. First of all, this is the business-oriented regulatory approach and fast licensing process. Currently, Lithuania has issued more than 100 payment and electronic money institution licenses, and it's the number 2 after UK in the number of licenses. ECOVIS International assisted more than 25 clients getting this kind of licenses here in Lithuania. You maybe know the quite big names who are already present in Lithuania, like Revolut. They have 3 licenses here in Lithuania: the specialized bank, electronic money, and insurance broker license. Google has an EMI license here. ECOVIS Lithuania has licensed companies like Contis from UK, like Instagram from Singapore. There are quite well-known names. The second reason why Lithuania is considered as an attractive jurisdiction is that the application for the most popular payment and electronic money institution licenses can be submitted without establishing a company. You can apply on behalf of the shareholder without establishing the company and freezing up the capital until the principal decision to grant the license will be issued. The second reason why Lithuania is attractive is that there is no requirement for the top management of the licensed company to reside in Lithuania. The CEO and the board members can reside outside of the Lithuania and European Union. Nevertheless, there are requirements for the licensed companies to have their own office and employ the local employees into a certain position. The biggest advantage for the payment processes in Lithuania is the possibility for non-banks. Non-banks might be the electronic money institutions or the payment institutions to get their own sorting codes for client IBAN account generation and the direct access to SIPA. The non-banks usually are not allowed in Europe and the rest of the world to get the direct access into the payment systems like Single Euro Payment Area, SIPA. In Lithuania, the non-banks can get the access through the National Bank of Lithuania, the regulator, and the system allows the non-banks to generate the client IBAN accounts for their clients. There are exactly the same accounts as the banks can generate in all the other EU jurisdictions. The fifth reason why Lithuania is attractive currently is the unique specialized bank license. This is the little bit restricted banking license, allowing to provide almost all traditional banking services and having only €1 million equity capital requirement and the licensing time of 6 months. And currently it has no alternatives or the equivalent in other EU jurisdictions. The very important reason why Lithuania is attractive is the possibility to submit all the license documentation in English only without translating them into Lithuanian or any language. A remote client verification allowing client identification without the physical presence of the client is one more reason why Lithuania is considered attractive. It allows the client verification, identification and onboarding from all Europe and all over the world using electronic means without the physical presence of the client in the office of the financial institution. And the final reason can attract the international fintechs to Lithuania is the possibility to get the residence permit under the startup visa program for the investors planning to run the innovative business in Lithuania. Now we go to another Baltic nation, Latvia, neighboring to Lithuania, and Latvia, as all other Baltic nations, is the country open to the business innovations and high technologies, including fintech. Latvian governmental institutions and business carefully monitor the market, trying to attract the innovations in fintech. Latvia introduced into the financial market new and high-value services without applying complicated and lengthy bureaucratic procedures for the financial market participants, as it sometimes happens in other EU jurisdictions. Being a member of European Union, Latvia provides a legal framework for financial services quite similar to the other EU member states. The benefits of the enormous potential of the European single market are available to every person who wishes to open a business company and to be licensed in Latvia. Latvian regulatory and supervisory authorities react to the market developments fast and guarantee the individual approach and case-by-case analysis. It is common in Latvia that the chief officials are personally available for the market participants, while supervisory authority, financial and capital market commission is always open for the consultations and assistance during the licensing process. A variety of fintech licensing opportunities are available in Latvia. In order to encourage potential, Latvian regulation has simplified requirements for the financial market startups and innovators, as well for the companies that are starting a business in the national market only. Latvian law provides a very reasonable time limits for the licensing of financial service providers. What makes all the process easier is that the fact that it's similar to Lithuania, the fact that part of the documents are accepted in English without translation into Latvian, and the additional documentation can be submitted on the go even after the official submission to the regulator. And finally, what the applicants should notice while applying in Latvia, first of all, this is the properly disclosure of the ultimate beneficiaries and provision of transparency in the shareholding till the very end physical beneficiaries standing behind the companies. The applicants should be ready for the rather strict anti-money laundering procedures in Latvia as well. That's all for the Latvia. Aivars, our partner Aivars, is ready to answer all the questions regarding Latvian licensing. Now we go to bigger market, Poland. In my understanding, the biggest advantage of Poland is that Poland is the biggest domestic market in Central and Eastern Europe, having more than 40 million consumers. Due to the size of the market, Poland is very interesting target for the fintech companies focusing on the consumer products like consumer loans and related services. Polish authorities would like to increase the competition into the national market and attract the foreign fintech players to the Polish market. That is why the special program of the Innovation Hub has been developed in Poland. The program is addressed to the fintechs that plan to launch the services and products, increasing competition in the market, bring the new benefits to the consumers, and disrupt the existing way of providing of the financial services. Thanks to the support of the program, newcomers have possibility to understand the regulatory environment applicable to their business models. Also newcomers may obtain the regulatory guidelines that facilitate the licensing process in Poland. In the area of traditional banking, Polish authorities tend to show the rather conservative approach. It is partly caused by the fact that currently Poland has well-established banking institutions in the market, and international banking groups are already present in Poland as branches or subsidiaries. Therefore, if you consider starting banking operations in Poland and apply for the banking license, you need to be ready for the traditional paper communication in Polish. You need to be ready to employ the local managers and ready to provide to prove that your top managers have competences in the area of finance, supported by the proper educational and professional licensing experience. Thank you. That's all for the Poland.
Thank you very much, Kestutis. Now, our partner from Romania, Adrian, will continue the introduction. Adrian, please.
Thank you, Peggy, Kestutis, and all colleagues that contributed to this presentation that usefully mixes information about regular financial operation and innovative fintech. We saw how open the regulators are to understand innovation in this sector, and that is, you know and feel that, a big step ahead. Almost all countries presented by Kestutis opened innovation hubs or fintech labs to explore and match fintech business with developing regulatory framework. Hungary, and here I thank Dr. Zalavari to allow me to speak on his behalf in this session. So Hungary went a step ahead. The Hungarian National Bank has opened a regulatory sandbox for consultation for fintech firms and established a regulatory test environment for them. Here, the fintech companies interact directly with the regulator and test together their business and technology solutions with real users. A digitalization and fintech advisory board was founded on 16th of September, so very recently, as a part of the new fintech strategy. Let's have now a look in the capital requirements for financial companies in Hungary. Please have in mind that €1 codes for approximately 330 Hungarian forints. So, for account information service providers, there is no extra capital requirement. For payment initiation service providers, the capital amounts to 15 million Hungarian forints. For financial enterprises, 50 million Hungarian forints. For banks, we speak about 2 billion Hungarian forints. For investment firms, euro 50,000 euros. And in practice, due to the legal costs and the prudential assessments of safe operation, a multiple of these amounts are required. So please be careful about that as well. We go now to Romania, my country, which has a very stable environment for financial institutions. I see that the slides moves very slow, so I use the time to tell you that we have the most longevous national bank governor in the world, already for 30 years in this position, re-elected every 4 years by every invested parliament so far. Myself, I'm only for 20 years in this banking sector. So now back to the slides. Romania is also innovating a lot with its innovation hub organized by the National Bank and with its fintech lab organized by the Financial Supervisory Authority. Something very similar to Poland and Hungary. We provide the same fast licensing and flexible setup possibilities for fintech companies. Our environment is specially designed for foreign investors. Therefore, nowadays, there are 969 financial institutions that notify to the National Bank of Romania their activity in Romania via EU passport. The operations in place are for banking, non-banking lending, electronic payments, and electronic currency. I would go now for a very particular and attractive form of lending in Romania, which is to be established within less than 3 months. And I'm speaking here about the non-banking financial institutions, which are carrying activities like lending in various forms, financial leasing, consumer finance, mortgages, factoring and forfeiting, but also non-cash products as letter of guarantees, bonds, performance bonds, and so on. The minimal equity of non-banking institutions amount for just 200,000 euros, an exception being the mortgage loans institutions that should put in their account at the beginning 3 million euros. No limitation for foreign entities or persons to incorporate national bank non-banking institutions, and there are no limitation for foreign citizens to be board members, which is very important for foreign entities entering to the European space. As well, no special requirements to communicate with the national bank within the legal framework. It's a very friendly environment. The permissive norms for prudential requirements are also an advantage. Flexible provisioning in case of non-performing loans is also considered by most of the investors as a very attractive basis to start operations in Romania and also then passport them to the EU space. In the end of the slides presentation, we are now all aware that fintech gets significant traction in the European Union. We are close to the end of our webinar, and we spoke only about advantages. That is very good. However, in business, you should be careful. For example, there are, in my opinion, two operational burdens that require your due care while operating fintechs in the EU. And I'm starting with the first one that refers to a simple advice. Please enjoy the easy setup in our flexible and less bureaucratic jurisdictions with due exigence while operating thereafter your fintech business in the EU space. In specific words, you, the investors, shall implement stronger internal compliance. And we in ECOVIS, we are advocating for the highest exigence in developing the fintech business all over Europe. In fact, be aware that there are two national regulators that will permanently scrutinize your activities. The regulator that has authorized the fintech and the regulator is in those member states where the activity is developed, both with their specific exigencies. Now, the second critical point is the strict control over the activities that the fintech nowadays usually outsources to third-party operators, especially technology companies. This is already creating difficult times for the national regulators, and the wrongdoing of such externalized partners might jeopardize your fintech licenses. In the end, I have two updates that I find very useful for you in terms of unified regulations. First is the common ruling of the cloud services in force from 1st of this month. And the second is the unification of the banking commissions and fees expected for December this year. So everything makes very easy for you to operate around Europe, around the member states, a fintech or a traditional financial institution. Plus, I'm sure that you recall that Kestutis has mentioned at the beginning about the upcoming crowdfinancing directive. So, fintech seems to us an endless universe. However, we advise that you carefully develop fintech business while states adopt proper and useful regulation. In the end, the states are lenders and guarantors of last resort. Thank you all. I hope you found the information in our webinar useful to you and your current or planned fintech operations in the EU. Now is your time to intervene and be active. So I open the session for questions that will be moderated by Peggy Ware. If you didn't address yet questions on the webinar interface, then please feel free to activate your microphone and challenge us. I don't know if that is possible, but Peggy, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Adrian. So everyone, I'm now going to unmute you. So if you have any question, you can raise your question here, or you can put your question in below the chat box or the question list. Okay, I think, well, currently we don't have any question raised here. We'll wait for about a minute. If you have any question, feel free to put it here. So all the attorneys, the professionals of ECOVIS network are online. They're here to reply you for your questions. Okay, as of now, there is no question raised. So thank you again for your participation today. This presentation will be uploaded onto our website. You can download the presentation material and the video, as well as our partners' contact details. You can find it also on our website. If you have any specific question or if you need any further information, please feel free to contact us. Here you can see my contact details. Also on our website, you can find our contact details of our partners. So if you're interested in a specific topic or any subject that you want to know more, please also feel free to contact us. We will arrange more informative sessions for you. Thank you very much again for your participation. So we wish you all a nice day. Thank you. Goodbye.